the side with Raga Olga de Silva. I'm the co-founder and director of Speaking Minds, India's largest speakers bureau, as you may have heard of us. We curate a whole lot of events. We have the best and best of motivational speakers, thought leaders, industry experts, and performers from India and from around the world. Through these very challenging COVID-19 times, we have managed to continue doing what we do best, is curate events for our clients. Today, I have a very, 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 very beautiful, stunningly beautiful musician, songwriter, performer, and now a very well known speaker, Sonam Kalra, with me. Sonam, welcome, Sonam.
Hi, it's lovely to be here, Raga. Thank you so much for having me on this lovely show that you do. And it's lovely to see your face
Thank you,
and connect
Sonam.
with you in the new way that everyone's connecting these
I
days,
know I miss
virtually.
you. I miss you.
Me
I miss
too.
that hug. And I hope
I know. Gosh,
one of
me
the
too.
reasons, one of the reasons I want the lockdown to now be relaxed is so that I can come and give you a Sonam
I
Raga hug.
totally agree with you. I can't
Sonam,
wait.
Sonam, I had to share this and I wanted to say this before we started the show is that I still remember meeting you for the first time. And I will never forget that moment. And I looked at you and our eyes met and I thought, wow. And then, of course, things happened and, I got busy, you got busy. And suddenly I saw you on stage. And you were this Sonam Kalra that I'd heard of and our paths had crossed a few times, but never really crossed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And there you
yeah.
were standing on stage and singing. And I thought, oh my God, what a powerful voice. Your voice actually spoke to me. And I remember mentioning that to you. And that voice, how and when did this start, Sonam?
So I think it's a bit of a joke. In fact, even my husband occasionally will get told by people, he'll say, you're so lucky that your wife has this really strong voice. And he jokes about the fact, he says, now imagine that voice getting angry with you. So, but that's an aside. I started learning music raga when I was very young. I started, I think, at the age of 4. My mother was very keen that I learn, but it was a kind of broken teaching. So I would learn from teachers and then I would take a break because I was interested in so many other artistic things. I was interested in painting. I used to dance. I used to do theater. I mean, I did it all the way till very recently. When I say very recently, I mean about 11 years ago. But music had this thread that just ran through me. And I grew up in a house which was surrounded by music. I mean, it was filled with music. My mother absolutely loved music. There was everyone from Harry Belafonte, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, to Begum Akhtar, Abida Ji, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab playing. So we had this wide, to my sister's taste in music, because both their rooms were on the left and the right of my room. So I heard Eric Clapton or I heard the Beatles. So I think the whole house was filled with music, and we were a good musical family. We would sing at the drop of a hat, all of us, for any
What was your
reason.
favorite music, Sonam?
Growing up or now?
Yeah, growing up. Yeah, of course.
So I'll have to say it was very similar to what my mother. So whatever my mom made me hear, why it was my favorite raga? It didn't really matter what I heard because I got a chance to hear so much. But what really mattered to me was that she would make me sit on her lap and we would listen to music on this one special chair that, by the way, when I got married and I moved, I said, this chair I'm taking with me, and it is on the right. I will show it to you at some point. But it is the chair that I compose music in. I literally still feel like I'm in my mother's lap when I'm sitting there and I have the two things that are most dear to me, my mother, my music, I have them together. So we listened, like I said, to everything. And she talked about the music and she talked about how she felt. So she kind of instilled that love for music in me. Um, and I mean, I still remember I loved it so much and I loved the art so much that when I was very young, I used to get all the colony kids together and I would become the director and I would direct this massive cultural event. I thought it was a massive cultural event. I would get 20 kids together. And then not only would I direct like everything from a play to a show, I mean, to a song and a dance and everything, I would make them all wear my clothes. So my poor mother would be horrified that every child in the neighborhood was wearing my clothes. But we were pretty good in terms of intent even then. We would sell 1 rupee tickets and then we would collect that money and I would give it to my mother and say, give it to charity. And it was like 20 rupees or whatever because all the parents would come. But I think the intent of the art was right. And possibly it was, like I said, the way we grew up, respecting art, respecting the people around us, respecting people of all ethnicities, respecting those less privileged, just respecting humanity and
Sure.
nature. So
Yeah.
I feel very blessed to have been brought up in that sort of atmosphere. And I've spoken to you about this many times, about how I feel like I had such wonderful parents, and they are everything. I mean, everything that I learned from them. They're my
You
greatest
know,
gurus.
and that is why I remember that when we started talking about curating corporate programs, and we were saying what is the thing that we can blend and bring the creative together for the corporate sector. I remember this conversation with you, and I remember thinking, Sonam, heart, art, music. To me, this
Yeah.
whole balance that you bring in, just because of the kind of personality that you have, to me, that really matters. And so today, when we talk about matters of the heart, I couldn't think of anybody better than you, Sonam,
Thank you,
because you
Radha.
blend the heart and the art. It's like it was created for Sonam Kalra. Really, I really believe that.
Thank you for
Now,
saying that, Radha.
so on that note, can we hear that beautiful voice?
Right now, you want me to sing
Yes,
something
I would
right
love
now?
to. Yes, why not?
Let me see. What can we sing? Hmm. चलिया मोमिन चलिया चलिया मोमिन मक्के चलिया मोमिन चलिया चलिया मोमिन मक्के मक्के चलिया मक्के जगदी सारी फिकरां तज के अपने मुर्शिद दे रंग सज के चलिया मोमिन मक्के चलिया मोमिन मक्के चलिया मोमिन मक्के चलिया मोमिन मक्के. There you go. This
Ah,
means
beautiful.
basically, I'll just explain the words to you because I think poetry and words are so important. And you would know that, of course, more than most people. But the lyric is so beautiful. And I like to stress on the lyric because I believe it plays such an important part. Communication is about how you say things. And even in this is something that I wrote with a friend. And it was the first lines are inspired by a poet who's, I took permission to use the first lines. But basically, the poet says that I am leaving this world. I'm going to Mecca. मैं अपने मुर्शिद के पास जा रहा हूँ. I'm going to be with my beloved. And it's really a metaphor for saying I'm leaving all the troubles of the world behind, all the fighting. He says, Jagdi sari fikran taj ke, chhod ke, apne murshid ke rang saj ke, that I will dye myself in the color of the beloved. And I want to go. I want to go to that place where there is oneness, where there is equality. Because I continue to write, I said, na main Hindu, na Musalman, main te Rab da banda. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੂੰ ਹੈ ਵਸਦਾ ਉਹੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਮੱਕਾ. I don't belong to any religion. I want to free myself from labels. And in any case, every heart that you live in is where I will find my Mecca. That's what he's saying in this. Well, that's what I said, but I mean,
So
I
apt,
like to think
so
of
apt.
myself as him in this case.
Isn't it so apt for the times today? Sonam, I'm going to bring you back to what we were going to discuss is matters of the heart. Can you
Yes.
tell us a bit more? I know that you're in huge demand right now. You have a lot of corporate events that you're doing on this particular matters of the heart. Can you explain to me what actually you bring to the table?
So, Raga, it actually grew from the fact that just exactly as I was telling you, sort of being exposed to so much art growing up. And I realized that we need to start using art to help ourselves through life, not just, of course, everyone uses it for meditation and for, de stressing, but we decided to try and use it in the corporate world. And how did we do that? We said art is about communication. So, how can we make people hone in or tune in to the artistic side that they have, or to develop an artistic side so that they can communicate better? We have this one module within that, which is called Finding Your Voice. And that doesn't necessarily mean finding your singing voice, it means finding your voice to be able to communicate. Some of the exercises we take them through are singing exercises, are word exercises. Also, for example, we have one exercise where we make them stand in a corner so that they can hear themselves speak, because we always have a different idea of what we sound like. And
Sure.
we spend so much of our lives in our comfort zones and being told that we're fine and everything's okay, that it's only when we step out of our comfort zone, or we are made to have a mirror right in front of us to show us what we really are, what we look like, what we stand like, what we sound like. So you stand in the corner, your voice bounces back, you realize what you're doing wrong, obviously with the help of us.
Sure.
And then we work on how to communicate, how to use your voice, your diction to communicate, how to find the rhythm in the way you should communicate. For example, if I was to speak very fast, you wouldn't understand anything I said. I'll be like, ba, 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 ba. I should speak at a certain rhythm so that I can be an effective communicator. If I'm going through a stressful time at work, everyone is touched by music, right?
Sure.
Everyone has a certain connection with music. So we ask you to identify that one happy memory, that one happy piece of music, and we say use that to help you
Sorry, I'm
through a
going to
difficult time.
interrupt. Sorry, I'm going to
Please.
interrupt, Sonam. So, what is music? So, what if I? So maybe I love music, but there's somebody else who doesn't really love music or understand the music that we kind of talk about. So,
Yeah.
what happens in that case?
So, I mean, I've rarely met someone who doesn't connect to music in some level. Maybe they can't sing, but they can definitely, they feel like moving to it. So, I will say that most people connect to music. You don't have to be a singer to understand
Sure.
music. Music is a language that it doesn't, that everyone feels. I mean, if we were all singers, there would be no listeners. Everyone would just be a singer. So, but I'll just pick up on the premise of saying can't. You know, to me, that in itself is the first problem. That's the boundary we set on ourselves. We spend so much of our lives saying, I can't do this, or
Sure.
what will people say, or what if I fail? So that's the first thing we talk about. Before we even get to the music, we talk about saying, drop the what if, drop the fear. The four most detrimental words to anyone's self esteem are, what will people say? Or what if I can't? All these sets of these four word sentences, you have to throw them out. You have to stop and you have to say, what's the worst that can happen? I will go out there, I will learn something, and who knows, I will become better at it. So, for everyone, we kind of tailor make it. We ask you to remember this song or a certain piece of music and a visual memory with it, how you felt when you had that visual memory, and then try and tap into that. And then use that to channel, sort of, if you're dealing with stress or if you have to get onto stage and make a presentation, how
Sure.
will you use that? I'm not going to
So,
give you
Sonam,
all my secrets, Raga, by the way.
no, but Sonam, a lot of people don't voice, something, right? Whether it's through music, through expression, is that's because they are one, of course, is the fear of being not understood or people passing a judgment. But it's also inhibition. People
Yeah.
have a lot of inhibition. So how do you manage that through what you're doing?
So, well, of course, we talk through this exercise, but again, there's another exercise which is called it's a shouting exercise. It's a fun exercise which we make everyone do, where we get them to really shout loudly and deal with their inhibition. Or also, we we ask a lot of people in these workshops to sing, and it's very interesting to me, especially the women in the workshop. What happens is if you ask them to sing, they'll have voices like yours and mine when they're speaking, but when they start singing, they'll get these very patli, like kind of voices, and you're like, what happened? Ye kya hua? And you realize that it's also conditioning. Women have been conditioned for so long to be sweet. They must sound sweet. And it doesn't just extend to the music, it extends to how they behave in the workplace. It extends to how, most women, will, even in the workplace, will start something by saying, I'm so sorry, but why are you apologizing for yourself? Be
So true.
firm. You can be firm without being aggressive, not just for women, but for men. So you don't have to be aggressive. So we teach them how to find that voice which is connected to their soul. So your speaking voice is your soul voice. That is the voice you need to communicate with. You have to stay very centered. So we make them work on finding their core voice.
Sure.
So
So I'm going to ask you on this, sorry, Sonam. So
please.
when you started with your training and your performance, were you socially conditioned, because we all are? So did you sing in another voice and now you sing in your own voice?
No, so fortunately, I wasn't socially conditioned at all. My parents appreciated the fact that I had a different voice, a deep voice. But I have to tell you, when I was in school, and I remember one of my principals, when we would have choir, he would make me stand with the boys. So there was a bunch of girls who sang like alto, soprano, and then there was the regular choir section, and the altos were the boys, and I sang with the boys. But of course, I loved it because to me it meant I was, not just equal to the boys, I was better than the boys. But it is there. I see it all the time. The minute people hear a soft voice, they say "kitni meethi awaaz hai," and that's this, and
Mm.
it may be a very sweet voice. And I'm not talking about singing here. I'm specifically saying this sweetness stops people from actually, it causes the inhibition that you're talking about. It stops
Sure.
them from extending themselves. It stops them from being firm. It stops them from pushing the boundaries because they've been told these are the boundaries of definition of what a person should be. Like I said, I keep coming back to the fact that we are constantly bound by these definitions and these walls that are created for us. And one of the major things of finding your voice of this exercise is to believe to start by believing that you can be much more than you already are. You already are much more than you
Sure.
are. You just have to allow your voice to get you there. You have to open your heart. So all these exercises work in tandem to try and help you do this so that you can be more productive at work. You can have a better relationship at home. You can even use music to like I said, to de-stress, to channel your creativity. And once you start to unbox raga, it's amazing the number of things you unbox. So much of it, even I can't tell you that I'll end up unboxing. I've seen it happen with myself. I've seen it happen with some participants.
Sorry, you froze for a bit. We lost you
Sorry.
for a bit.
I said so much when the unboxing happens, so much else gets unboxed at so many different levels, at so many different subconscious levels. When you stop living in these boundaries that we try and work to get you out of, that you find so many other things of you about yourself opening up.
Sure. Sonam, there was a couple of times that you froze, but if you do that again, you may need to log out and come back.
Please, yeah,
And I'm
just
sorry
let
that
me know.
happens, yeah.
Yeah,
But you know what, I'm finding it interesting that in a corporate space, and I've been in the corporate space for about 25 plus years now.
yeah.
In a corporate environment, mostly leaders are the ones who are able to express themselves loudly. I'm going to use the word aggressively,
Yeah.
sometimes in an aggressive manner. Sometimes, we are so inhibited with what we are because of who we become is because of people like that. So, do you think it is important to have a voice that is powerful and meaningful, or a voice that is strong and sounds aggressive to be a leader?
No, I don't think it's important to have an aggressive voice, Raga, because I think the world needs much more calm than aggression. I think it's
Sure.
important to have a calm voice. It's important to listen to yourself. None of this happens just by, it's not like anyone is born with it, right? You have to work on even this skill of communication. You have to work on centering yourself. You have to also think of how to be an effective communicator. So that's
Sure.
when I talk of finding the rhythm. We ask them, we play a rhythm. We actually play a rhythm in one of these workshops, and we ask people to try and speak in that rhythm so that they get into the habit of not trying to rush through or not say too much. And if you've got a certain time limit that you have to communicate within, you do it in that, and these are things, then you take them home and you work on them. It can't happen just with the one time I sit with you, but it is work, and it must be work. After all, you're a good communicator because you've been doing it for so many years and you think about communication. So, in the same way, the Find Your Voice workshop makes you think about communication.
Sure. So, in your Find Your Voice workshop, do you also train people in how to think? Because that's
Yeah,
most important, right? Before you
I
express.
definitely talk them through it. I explain to them that you have to first figure it out in your head what you
Yes.
want to say before you blurt it out. A lot
Sure.
of us just go bump, and
Yeah.
it's exactly like music, Raga.
Yeah.
Everything, even when we sing, we hear the notes in our head before we sing them. It's the
Sure.
same thing. You have to hear it in your head before you express it. And that's how you need to talk to them. I mean, like I said, a lot of presentation workshops. And when I worked in advertising, I remember we had this person who came and gave us a presentation workshop. And one of the things he taught us was not to have ticks. Don't say, yeah, like, yes, that is very distracting. But one of the things I felt he didn't teach us was think it through. Think it through. And it can be a constant subtext that's going through your head parallelly to while you're communicating. It
Sure.
doesn't have to be something you memorize before. It's just
Right.
running, and you teach them that.
Yeah. So, in music, you have a lot of riyaz, right? It is years and years of training. It's just because you have a beautiful voice doesn't mean that you're going to be a beautiful singer. You're
Yeah,
doing riyaz every day.
yeah,
So, do you think for people like us, people who are in the corporate space, who are very good at what we do, we're talented in our own way, right? We have the
yeah.
skills, we have the education, we have the knowledge. So, do you think, before presentation, it's important to do the riyaz?
Hundred
Because a lot
percent.
of people don't do it.
No, 100%. I mean, I am a big stickler for rehearsals, for work, for constant. This was the theater experience I had, and I remember my theater teacher, I call her my teacher, but she was my director, whose repertory I was a part of. And I remember her, like, there would be days we were exhausted. We'd be like, "Can please, Amal, we don't want to do any more rehearsal." And she said, "You have to rehearse it to the point that it becomes a learned response. It
Sure.
almost becomes your intuition. So it's just so that even if you forget, it's just so deeply ingrained in you that you will still be able to deliver."
Fantastic.
So,
So, yeah. So sorry.
sorry.
So I'm just so is music, when you say music, right? When we use talk about music, learning from music, that's what you and I've been talking about. Is there a particular kind of music we learn from, or each one of us learns from the music that we know?
I think each one of us should learn from the music that appeals to us, right?
Okay.
Because each one of us has our own sensibility. So I'm not going to try and force you to love a certain kind of music because then it won't move you. You
Sure.
are, each of us is individual, each of us is unique, and each of us will have our own interests. It's fine to open yourselves up to other pieces of music, other styles of music, because you never know what that will do for you. But if you are comfortable with a certain piece of music, that's fine too. I mean, I don't think we have to be, we're not strict about that, and we don't need to be, right? You can't
But
cast everyone in the same
sure.
mold.
When you talk about matters of the heart and when you run your programs online, for
Yeah.
instance, so if I'm sitting there, I'm one of those 100 people, 200 people sitting in the audience, which is online these days, right? Which is,
Yeah.
I know, which is far more difficult than when you do
Yes.
live sessions. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, Sonam does this particular kind of music. She's fantastic at Sufi, for instance, but I don't understand Sufi very well. I don't understand, will I understand what she's trying to teach me or trying to impart to me?
I
So,
think I think Raga. I mean, everything sounds much more ominous and much more frightening than it is, or daunting than it is. Not ominous, but daunting is the word I was looking for. But it's not that. The fact is, I know everybody thinks Sufism is this big word and it's fluffy up there, just like Indian classical music. People say, "Humko to samajh nahi aata." You just Sufism to me, and I explain this very simply. Sufism is the simplest thing. It is an acceptance of all humanity as equal. Now, that's all you need to understand of it. That is the one definition you need to understand of it. The rest is left up to your interpretation. It's not that difficult to understand. So I think that I have never felt that when I have connected with people, anyone has felt that they don't understand what I'm saying in terms of the music, because we simplify it, because I want everyone to be able to relate to it. So, like I said, I don't think anyone feels that nahi mere sar ke upar se gaya. And essentially, coming back to the other thing, is that music is how it makes you feel. Sometimes you hear something in a completely different language and it touches you. So it
right.
doesn't it does it's the language that transcends boundaries and borders. So I don't worry too much about that.
Fantastic. So if I am sitting online in front of a virtual space right now, and if Sonam is running a Matters of the Heart workshop with me, yeah. So just trying to understand that how will I take in the information that normally in a live session it's easy for me to take it in. So if you ask me to do an exercise and I don't have my colleagues with me, because that's where we get energy from each other, right?
Yeah.
So how is it different to doing a live session?
Well, I mean, it's different from doing a live session. Like you said, of course, there's the human interaction missing. But I think in some ways it's kind of nicer because on your screen, on my screen, I can see you up close. I can see, how you're responding, how you're reacting. I also feel that people are feeling a sense of less inhibition on screens for some reason. In the last few sessions that I've done, people are not feeling afraid. Everyone's willing in this lockdown to try new things because everyone is seeing it as a time of rebirth. Everyone is seeing it as a time of learning a new skill. And if it's with a bunch of your colleagues still on the same platform,
Sure.
most people feel quite comfortable. In fact, even if we do a session when people don't know each other, they find it quite easy to, because they're laughing, they're having fun. In some cases, that because some of the exercises people do in a funny way or whatever, but there's no judgment. I think the world has become a kind of more compassionate place in general with having been locked down.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, the cynical part of me kind of questions it, but the nicer part of me accepts that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we are right now, like you and I spoke about this earlier, right? This is completely out of the conversation, but I have to say this. We believe that during the pandemic, things will change, things that we will look within, that,
Yeah.
like you said, we will be a better humankind.
I
But
think Raga, people are looking for community because they're
yeah,
missing community. So
yeah,
that sense of connecting. So I
yeah,
think that is possibly why even when we do these workshops, when they see each other, they do get strength from each other because it's so
sure.
important. These days, have you noticed nobody is really picking up the phone and speaking to each other? Everyone's making video calls because we're so in need of that
Yeah,
human contact, of
sure.
seeing each other. You're missing each other. You just want to see someone's face. So I feel like the inhibitions are not there. And
Sure.
it's really lovely to I can tell you the number of people who, even when we've got them to sing a line, they feel just that makes them happy, because you are singing from whatever said and done. When somebody sings, they sing from their heart. Whether you're singing
Sure.
in the bathroom, it is a
Yeah,
part of your heart that you share with everyone.
sure. So
Which is why you see people's faces when they sing, even
yeah,
amateurs. You can see
yeah.
they're putting everything into it.
They go inward, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So on that note, Sonam, what is important for me to understand, and a lot of corporate companies are asking these questions to Speaking Minds, the kind of inquiries we're getting, is that how do we manage to have a mental balance during this time, which is a tough time for all of us? We need human interaction, like we said, right? It's not happening. The only people that we see are our families, if we have families around. All of us are not that fortunate either. So,
Yeah.
how do we manage to keep balance using music, using art, using creativity, using our inner resources?
So I think firstly, to keep balance, we have to keep conversations going. We have to keep conversations open. I know that within the first 3 weeks of the lockdown, what kept me sane was the conversations, talking to people. In the beginning, everyone was talking about what was happening. Then we started talking about the way forward. But just talking conversations is very important. Also talking to people about mental health, because a lot of people are going through many different things.
Sure.
Some people are just like, what am I going to do with my life? And you
Right.
have to explain to them. So I think one of the through music we can teach them, and what we're doing is talking about just accept. So stop fighting what's happening right now, accept it and adapt. And in that adapting, learn a new skill, learn how to better yourself. And like I said, we use this music to help them find a happy meditation, as we call it. So it's not like a yogic meditation. It doesn't involve, five pranayams or whatever. It's called like a happy memory meditation. So we help them channel that. We also talk about journaling, and you can journal in any way. So we're trying to keep it quite fluid, like music is. I'm not laying down the rules. I'm saying these are the options you have. Find your ways through it. Because I find that if you allow people, again, the space to move freely within a few options you give them, everybody uses what works for them. You can't have a one size fits all.
Sure. Sure. So if we, were part of your workshop, what is the outcome I would expect for me or for, say, a younger person versus a person of a
Well,
certain age?
I would hope that when you leave my workshop, you would leave feeling a little bit inspired, not necessarily by me, but by yourself and what your potential is. I would hope that you leave with your mind being opened a little bit, and you realizing, even, sometimes when you do something small, you're so used to that I can't, and you with me in the workshop, if you manage to do something small and you realize that your I can't became an I can, that in itself feels like a huge victory. And that, like I said, opens up many doors to saying, hey, if I could do this, then maybe I can do this. And if I can do this, then there's also a possibility I can do this. So, and also, I'm very open. We do a question answer where people talk to me about my journey. And my journey, Raga, wasn't the easiest in terms of music
Sure.
either. I came to music, eventually started performing quite late. I've been through a lot of personal tragedy. I went through, and I mean, I'm not saying it's worse than anyone's, or, but I mean, I
Sure.
know that it is all things that I managed to come out of and I wanted to come out of. And it was music that saw me through all of it. If I didn't have music, which is why I want to share with people that it can help you do so much. It can help you communicate better. It can help you find the peace. So even now when people say, Sonam, do you meditate? And I say, but I do music.
Yeah.
That is my
Yeah.
meditation.
Sure.
So I'm peaceful because I do music, and
Yeah.
I'm able to, when the world is just felt like it's been a really tough day, I do music. I have music, and music is that friend who will
Yeah.
not leave you, that friend who will stay with you till you're really old, and you can have
I
music
understand.
with you.
I
So
understand this because that music is the same to me. I know Milind Soman, who's a business partner in Speaking Minds. For him, running is meditation,
yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So I
Yeah,
think different things to different people, and a lot of people, and I know a lot of us use music for therapy, for meditation, for that
yeah,
magic that you were talking
yeah,
about, right?
yeah.
That
And of
little
course,
memory
here,
back. Yeah.
and finding your voice, which is
Sure.
something that is really important. Like, I really feel that we are all conditioned, again, as I say, to not be allowed to speak out. I mean, one of the songs I did was about finding your voice. Bol ke lab azad hai tere, bol
Please,
zaban ab
अब
tak
जरा
teri.
sing कर लो, sing कर लो,
Okay.
sing. हाँ.
Okay, wait, let me just try, and because we've been chatting, let me get the keys. So I put it into my ear and then try.
Then I will read some comments that we're getting, some
Okay.
wonderful comments, and after that,
So,
let's
so, mm, bol ke lab आजाद है तेरे बोल ज़बां अब तक तेरी है तेरा सुतवा जिस्म है तेरा बोल के जान अब तक तेरी है, बोल के लब आजाद हैं तेरे, बोल ज़बान अब तक तेरी है. There you go.
This
It
is the
means
first song I heard,
This
Sonam.
is, yes, and
Yeah.
it means it says speak out because your lips, they are still free. Speak out because your body is your own, your voice is your own. It says use your voice. And there's this lovely verse later on which says, बोलिए थोड़ा वक्त बहुत है जिस्मो ज़बां की मौत से पहले. So, your most effective tool, Raga, that all of us have is our voice. We need to use our voices to speak out against injustice, our voices to speak out for change. And if we can find ways to use our voices effectively, then not only will that be incredible, but the power of our collective voices. Just
Correct.
imagine that.
And to me, I keep thinking that imagine if I used my voice in the most effective manner for me first. I don't even do that, right? Most of us don't even understand that. If we started with us and then we became a voice, collective voice, imagine the power, Sonam.
And Raga, even sharing stories. I mean, there are every time I come away from listening to a talk or listening to stories, your story, other people's stories, I am so inspired. And how did those stories get shared? Because people use their voices. And imagine what a wonderful, we could create this bank of voices, of stories. I mean, that's just another idea. But if we could create a bank of inspiring stories, how they help people just deal with their everyday lives, because not only you realize you're not alone, everyone has their struggles, everyone is struggling. And if we start talking more, we start communicating more effectively, sharing our voices, sharing our stories, that's the only way, especially in a time like this, that's the only way forward.
I totally agree with you. And on that note, I'm going to read some of the comments that we're getting, Sonam. And
Oh
it's so
no.
lovely to get these amazing comments. So there's a Sahil Lal. He says, "Hi Sonam ji, we miss your performance." So I'm not sure if you know him,
Sweet.
but
Yes, he comes for my concerts. I know him. Yes.
E2, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, with
Yes.
Chopra. She says, "Hey, beautiful people. Hey,
Hi, you too.
Manoj Gursahani, who's a very dear friend of ours, says, interesting conversation. Thank you,
Thank you.
Manoj. Nicola Fenton says, who is here doing the tech, back in
Yeah.
tech.
Yes.
She says, what if I love to sing, but cannot sing in tune?
It doesn't matter, Nicola. I think we spend too much of our lives in the search of perfection, and that stops us. So, really, even I think for me, this is a theater lesson that I learned, that you don't have to search for perfection in anything, but you have to search for the truth. And as long as there is truth, there will be beauty. So, as long as there's truth in what you're saying, there will be beauty in it, and it'll be you, it'll be your voice. And that in itself makes it unique, it makes it beautiful.
But I also remember a conversation that Sonam I've had with you recently on you doing something, a workshop for singing for non-singers. I'd put my
Yes.
hand up. We all
I'm
love to
happy to
sing.
do that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy to. I mean, I love those workshops because like I said, Raga, I hate these terms. People who can't, non-singers. How
Yeah.
do you know until you open your heart? How do you know until you open your voice? And what is a singer? There is the most beautiful quote by Rumi, which says, and that to me is singing. When you say my heart sings, does it say my heart sings in tune? Your heart sings. And Rumi says, I want to sing like the birds sing, not worrying about who hears or what they think. And that's what singing should be.
Beautiful.
Not everybody has to be a performer, but why shouldn't you sing? If your heart is singing, if your soul says you want to sing, sing. Sing for yourself.
But this is exactly what we're talking about, right? This whole conversation is about finding your voice. And this is
Yes.
it. Why do we not express the way that we should be expressing is because we're so scared of being judged.
Yeah.
It's the fear
Conditioning.
remains. Yeah, conditioning. The
Yeah.
fear
Yeah.
remains in us. And then we're so scared to express. And that's the same thing with singers or non singers. And I know
Yeah.
you said you don't like the term, but why do we not sing publicly? Because we fear being judged, being, tomatoes being thrown at us.
I know. And that's just, I mean, what has put this fear in us, right?
Mm.
And that's
Yeah.
what you have to get to the core of. What has put this fear? And even this workshop, singers for non-singers, singing for non-singers, it's just really simple. It's about helping you find your soul voice, which is your speaking voice. And you don't have to try and sound like someone else. You don't have to try and sing like someone else. You just find your own voice. Even that comes back to that same one point of finding your voice, finding your truth, finding your.
Rhythm, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
finding a rhythm. I'm going to
Yeah.
remember that forever, Sonam. There's Jitendra Kumar Prasad who says, such a profound explanation on Sufism. That's when you were talking about Sufism.
Thank
Even I
you.
thought that was really, really profound.
Thank you
Vivan
so much.
Akshit, we met this young man in Ranchi together when we were doing the Jharkhand Literary Festival, and
Yes.
he's said thumbs up and loves it. Rashmi writes, says, lovely session.
Thank
Music
you,
is a
Rashmi.
friend that will never leave you. Beautifully said, Sonam.
Thank you, Rashmi.
Malkit Singh says, awesome. So we've been getting these comments throughout.
Thank
And
you.
Sonam, I
That's
would love to listen to another song from you while we are here. And I'm sure the audience is waiting.
okay. Let me see what I can sing you. Uh, what shall I
Lal,
sing?
Lal.
Yeah. Okay. 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 I had a
Public
feeling you were
demand,
going.
public demand, public
I had a
demand.
feeling you were going to say that. Hmm. लाली मेरे लाल दी जित देखूं तित लाल हरे लाली वेखण मैं गई मैं भी हो गई लाल लाल मेरी पत रखियो बाला झूले लालण लाल मेरी पत आइयो बाला झूले लालण सिंधड़ी दा सेवण दा सखी शाबास कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली रग रग दे अंदर हो दमादम मस्त कलंदर हुसैनी लाल कलंदर लाल मेरी पत रखियो बाला झूले लालण लाज मेरी पत रखियो बाला झूले लालण सिंधड़ी दा सेवण दा सखी शाबास कलंदर हक दमादम मस्त
मस्त
कलंदर
कलंदर.
अली रग रग दे अंदर हो दमादम मस्त कलंदर हुसैनी लाल कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दा पहला नंबर मस्तो मस्तो मस्त कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर. There you go.
Awesome. Sonam,
Thank you so
awesome.
much, my dear.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Every time I've heard you perform, I get goosebumps. Every time you do a corporate talk, I think you're absolutely fabulous. The lessons we learn from you,
You are
you know,
just so kind.
without being gyani, which is like what really bothers people, right? You just express yourself, we learn from you, you teach us a lot. I want one last thing from you, two things actually. One is
Please.
tell us more about the concert that you're doing tomorrow. So if anybody wants to join in the concert, they could.
Yeah. So I'm actually doing two concerts, one tomorrow and one day after. The one I'll go because the first one is a little longer. But on Sunday, I'm doing something for an NGO called Safe in India. So they have a Facebook page that one can go to, where basically they raised a lot of funds. Safe in India and Manzil are two NGOs which raised a lot of money for migrant workers near Manesar and Naharpur, and they feed them every day. Because they have no daily income, they were daily wagers. So they feed them every day. They make sure food reaches their house. And so they wanted to say thank you to all the people that had contributed, and I joined them in saying thank you by a musical offering. So that you can find details. We're just waiting to hear what Modi ji's speech is going to be. So I think the details will be on their Facebook page, Safe in India. Tomorrow
Safe
I'm
in
doing
India,
some
is it? Sorry,
Safe in
Safe in
India.
India on Facebook.
Yeah. And tomorrow I'm doing something which is a ticketed show. It's ticketed because we're raising funds for the Partition Archive, which is run by a wonderful friend. She's become a friend, a girl called Gunita, who has been collecting stories of partition survivors over many, many years. And she has the largest archive of partition stories in the world. I really love the work she does. In fact, Raga, I'm sure you'd love to meet her as well. But so Gunita is I have done this show which I had created a long time ago for myself, in any case, because partition is something very close to my heart, and it was called Stories of Separation by Sonam Kalra, which talks of partition stories, and it talks of what happened, and it ends with really us saying कि गुफ्तगू बंद ना हो, बात से बात चले, basically saying don't stop the dialogue between the two neighboring countries, because through the show I take you through the entire gamut of what happened, what transpired, how badly both sides were hurt, and the fact that there were friendships. And why can't we at least talk now? Why can't we become friends again? So it's a hope for peace. It's just an artist's hope for peace. And that is happening. It's on the Partition Archive website. It's also on my Facebook page. The link for the tickets. That's going to be on at 9 p.m. tomorrow, Indian Standard Time. So it would be great if people would like to be a part of it. Of course, it's all going to be live. It's going to be my first absolutely proper live concert. So technical glitches and all, but we're just hoping that, you know what? God is watching over us, intent is right, and everything
Fine.
else will fall into place.
Sonam, if you have the time later, maybe you can just post those links on the comments page on this video.
Absolutely. I'd
Just if
love to, Raga.
anybody's
Thank you so
interested
much.
here. You know, I
Thank
was going through Facebook and Twitter, I think, is where Gurinder Chadda, the Gurinder Chadda, who we absolutely love her films, don't we? She
Yes,
made a
we do.
comment after listening to you. She said, anyone needing a bit of comforting, listen to this from the amazing Sonam Kalra and the Sufi Gospel Project. We are all connected, she says. God is one. And she even made a mention saying, A.R. Rahman, you will appreciate this. What an honor. What an
It
amazing
was
thing.
quite special. I have to say, I was very, very moved. And she was referring to a song that I've sung where I blend Hallelujah with Allahu, basically to say that each of us can have our own truths and we can find those truths in a temple, a shrine, a church, or a mosque. But the most important thing to remember is each truth is just as valid. And actually, Raga, sometimes we're shouting so loudly over each other that we don't realize that we're actually saying the same thing. It's just many different routes to the same God, like many different rivers that flow into the one sea.
Sure. You know, Sonam, every time I have spoken to you and we said we'll speak for 5 minutes, you remember our conversations and we end up
Yeah,
speaking for
for hours.
hours. And there's
Yes.
so much to say and there's so much unsaid. And I think that's going to be the same thing today. There's going to be so much unsaid. I could listen to you forever and ever and ever, and you know that.
And I could talk to you forever and ever. So, yeah, but I think we might bore everyone if we
No, I
kept
don't
chatting.
think anybody will get bored, but I think technology doesn't permit us to go beyond a certain time. You
Yeah.
live in my soul, and I'm sure you live in the soul of many, many,
Aw,
many people. So thank you very much. I love
thank
you.
you. And
And
thank you to everyone who tuned in. I mean, thank you for listening. Raga, of course, does such amazing stuff, but thank you for tuning in for this session where I was a part of all the amazing work that she does. Well, some of the amazing work. I hope to be part of much more. But Raga, thank
oh,
you.
thank you. And Matters of the Heart and Find Your Voice and singing for non singers, if there is something like that, and the concerts that we do. I hope we all somehow find time and tune into all those things. And we are here at Speaking Minds, very, very privileged to have you as part of the talent we manage and look
Thank you. And
forward to many more, Sonam.
huge thanks to you and to Nicola for making this happen. I know that the two of you are working tirelessly to keep all this, the arts community, the words community, people, game changers, life changers. You're trying to bring them to the fore. So thank you for all the hard work you're doing and keeping this alive at this time. It's really of great value to all of us. So
Well,
thank
thank you.
you.
It's a privilege. Sonam, really, it's a privilege. And we're very, very, very grateful that the universe has given us the opportunity to bring in thought leaders, industry experts, motivational speakers, amazing performers like you. And we continue with what we do anyway. And yes, I must thank Nicola, who tirelessly works behind the scenes. So thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Sonam. It's been a
Thank you, my
pleasure,
dear.
and we will talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you
Bye
so
bye.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody,
you.
for joining
Thank
in.
you, everyone. Thank you.